Mic Drop Sports. I'm Jason, and I'm trying a little bit of a different setup here tonight. So let's see here. Just with my seating, I'm trying to just make it a little bit different. But what is up? Hopefully, everybody is well and having a great night. Let's try to see if I can brighten it up how I like it here. What do you think? We'll go back down a little bit. But anyway, guys, we are here. Mic Drop Sports. It's draft week. What's up, Big Stretch? What's up, Sean? What's up, everybody? Make sure you're cracking the shit out of that like button as we move through the show. Again, I'm trying a little bit of a different setup with my seat, so I'm up a little bit higher. So forgive me. I'm going to adjust this light. Hold on. All right, guys, let me make sure I had a little bit of lighting here because I definitely changed things up a hair. But again, we will be actually moving, changing studios here shortly. So it'll be a little bit of a road show here for the next month or so after probably about a week or so here. But we will be live here on draft night. We will see exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers and Omar Khan have going on here and what they're going to do. And I really think that the Pittsburgh Steelers will fill those major needs and those major holes here ahead of the 2024 season, which will be pretty awesome. And I think it'll spell some good things for next year as the Steelers move in with a new center, hopefully a new tackle, hopefully maybe an exciting wide receiver, but just several big things that could go on with this draft. We'll see how this all unfolds. What's up, Big Stretch? He said Sean says Zach Wilson to the Broncos. Yeah, Zach Wilson to the Broncos. Yeah, they replaced, what'd you say earlier, Sean? Russell Wilson with Zach Wilson. Yeah, so that was pretty funny. Yeah, pretty cool. So Zach Wilson, troubled New York Jets quarterback. Yeah, gets pushed out the door by one Aaron Rodgers, who is coming off that big Achilles injury, but now will be the quarterback moving into 2024 again with the New York Jets, and we'll see if they are a contender or a pretender with one Aaron Rodgers. And then you find the Steelers in a similar situation, bringing in an aging quarterback in Russell Wilson, and then bringing in a younger option in Justin Fields. So, the Steelers kind of find themselves in that type of situation also, with a quality roster in my eyes, especially on the defensive side of the football for the Steelers. I think that, you get a good guy in there that has been to the mountaintop, a guy that knows what he's doing, a guy that can get some things done, like an older quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, those types of guys that know how to manage the game, know how to keep your football team in games, and can do still the things that made them successful in the past, and are still able to get it done. Yeah, I like the big emojis. Hide your mama's Broncos. Yeah, I like it. What's up, George? What's up, everybody, again? Sorry if it's a little bit different look, but I changed my seat out. I gave myself a hard seat for the reason it keeps me fired up, man. Makes me want to work, get moving. Big Stretch. Levi Wallace, possibly to the Broncos. Look out and an all locked in for the Horsey Tie Stadium. Yeah, Levi Wallace could be a Denver Bronco too. What about, though, this draft, guys, that's kicking off this Friday? Or this Thursday, April 25th, I believe. Yeah, it should be Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday, right? Yep, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the Chicago Bears are officially on the clock right now. It's draft week. So you're looking at what are they going to do? A team that literally gave away Justin Fields for nothing. A team that has really never given their picks, tools to succeed in my eyes, at least with Justin Fields. So you look at that and you look at this first pick of the NFL draft, and many are saying Caleb Williams, slam dunk. I got to tell you guys something. Whoever takes Caleb Williams, whoever takes a guy like a Caleb Williams or maybe a Drake May or something like that, but Caleb Williams really in particular, guys, it is a complete and absolute wrong move. It is going to be a complete disaster. Caleb Williams is not that dude. The best quarterback in this draft, probably if I had to take one, would be Jaden Daniels, and that's just my opinion. He's what, a 5-year player? You look at Caleb Williams and the way he's acted, the way he's portrayed himself, the way he went into Oklahoma, expected to start over a guy like a Spencer Rattler who had really had one of those great seasons the year prior that was projected, if he would have entered the NFL draft, to be one of those top quarterbacks taken in that year's draft. And then you look at Caleb Williams coming in there, really expecting to start. And then when Lincoln Riley moves over to the USC program, Caleb Williams tucks his tail, heads over there. He had upended Spencer Rattler in week, 7 he had started, which I don't think should have happened. I thought Spencer Rattler was playing well enough that he shouldn't have been benched there in Oklahoma. That was a complete disaster. But you look at what Caleb Williams has done here in the way he's played, and you turn on the tape, I think the Chicago Bears are making a massive, massive mistake if they take Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall selection. A guy that wanted a piece of the franchise to be, hey, I need a piece of that franchise. You're going to have to give me a little bit of the team. Get the shit out of here, Caleb Williams. Like, come on, dude. You ain't even that good to go in there and demand anything. You're not a generational talent, as some are saying. And people that are out there saying that this guy's a generational talent must not turn on the tape. And I know I'm on a little bit of a soapbox here, but I really think the Chicago Bears should wake up and not draft Caleb Williams. Now, I'm not saying they're going to take him. Maybe they are smarter than that. Maybe they will take a guy like a Jaden Daniels. How do you pass on a Marvin Harrison Jr.? They passed on Marvin Harrison Sr. Before in Chicago. So how do you do that again? I would probably take Harrison Jr. over a guy like Caleb Williams, in my opinion. I'm just saying. I think that you really have to, what I'm trying to lead into with this Caleb Williams talk is what the Steelers need to be looking for. You hear the Steelers often say we're trying to find those Steeler type players. Well, yeah. Don't take a guy like Caleb Williams because he ain't nobody's type of player. I think he's going to be a disaster in a locker room wrecker. Skylar Cannon, what's up? Big stretch. Can't wait for the draft for the Bears. I'd trade back, honestly. Yeah, honestly, they need to do something other than Caleb Williams, and I'm telling you that. And I really think anybody inside of that top 10 that takes Caleb Williams is setting themselves up for failure in my eyes. I don't think he is going to be that dude. I've been wrong before, guys. I have definitely been wrong before, and I'll admit it if I am wrong. But from my evaluation, from what I've seen, and from what I've heard about other talent evaluators that I truly, truly trust inside of the game, I would never take Caleb Williams. Guys that I really, really trust. You have guys like that were on our show, Merrill Hodge, one of the better tape guys that I've ever seen in the history of football, in my opinion. A guy that really knows how to break down tape. He really knows how to break down film. Now, does that translate to coaching or something? I don't know, but he really knows how to break down tape, and he really is an excellent talent evaluator. And you look at what he has to say about Caleb Williams, and you look about others like Dan Orlovsky. I think is a pretty good evaluator of talent. He is really not sold on them. So there are guys out there that are really not sold on Caleb Williams, and I'm just joining that train from really watching highlights and really watching these quarterbacks that are considered in the upper echelons of this draft, the top prospects. I would have to really shy away from a guy like Caleb Williams. I'd have to shy away from a guy like Drake May. He'll get your ass fired. And I think Caleb Williams will get your ass fired too. These guys just aren't it, man. And when you're breaking down the tape and you look at them when they're playing opponents that really are decent, high-level high-level teams, it's just not there, man. It's just not there in my eyes. And I think when you see what the Pittsburgh Steelers are saying, I'm looking for a Steeler type guy. I'm looking for a certain type of dude. And I think that tells you something when you're looking at a guy like Caleb Williams. Like those types of guys you're trying to steer away from. And it's not necessarily a Steeler guy. It's a guy that most NFL franchises that have success, that have, continued success year after year and are not just one-hit wonders. Sometimes you see the type of guys that they go out and get, the type of character guys, especially at significant positions like the quarterback spot. You're going to make sure that you're not getting a dud like a Caleb Williams, in my opinion. I think he's a real smart ass. Garbage attitude from the quotes I've seen. You're absolutely right. What's up, Larry? Williams is trash. I think Penix Jr. is the best quarterback coming out. I would say Jaden Daniels, but I do think Williams is absolute garbage, and I would not take him because, like I said, he will get your ass fired. He will. Yeah. What's up, George? Yeah, guys, thank you for the comments. Make sure you're putting them in there. Make sure you're hitting that like button as we get started here with the show here on Steel City Live, only on Mic Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. Make sure, though, you're hitting that like button as we continue for our daily live show here that we do on the channel, and I appreciate it. But we are diving in here. It's draft week, and we're talking a little bit about these draft prospects and maybe some of the ones that you should start to shy away from, if you ask me. A guy that, is just a real piece of garbage, if you ask me. Go back. Here's something that you should go watch. Go watch Ryan Clark's Pivot podcast that he does with Fred Taylor and Channing Crowder or Channing, whatever his last name is. But go watch that and watch that interview with Caleb Williams and watch how, I wouldn't say coaching, but watch how Ryan is trying to handle Caleb Williams and trying to lead him into not saying something stupid. But yet when he talked about that Oklahoma situation, man, did he just not come off right. You could tell there was something there, and he even alluded to it by saying, yeah, there's a backstory to it, but, I won't get into that. But you followed the guy that was starting the dude in front of you. You followed Lincoln Riley over to USC. There's just something about Caleb Williams that rubs me the complete and utter wrong way, man. And those types of guys I'd want to steer clear from, man. I really, really would want to steer clear from. Just a guy that just doesn't strike me as a good dude. And I think you're really looking for that. You heard Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin have that press conference today, the one that the general manager and the head coach do every year ahead of the draft here right at the beginning of the week, and really get you amped up and really maybe gives you maybe a slightly better look into the draft. Not really, because they don't really give anything away. But you hear what they're talking about and what they're trying to find whenever they're looking for players, and Caleb Williams and players of that nature, players that match his attitude and his, I don't know, abilities, I guess. Yeah, they're shying away from that type of guy, man. Kathy Tucker, watching your show from the Bahamas, where we have lots of Steeler fans. Thank you, Kathy. That's awesome, man. Well, welcome from the Bahamas. I've been to the Bahamas once. I went to Nassau and went to a resort there. I was on a cruise. Went to that little bar, Senor Frogs, when you get right off that cruise ship there in Nassau. Hopped in a cab. We had some crazy times there, man. Some real crazy times. It was nuts. I lost my friend. Yeah, we found him doing shots, getting them dumped down his mouth from a fifth bottle off the stage from the DJ. Yeah, we found him in a bad way, but yeah, we almost missed the cruise ship departure time. It was pretty insane, but the Bahamas was a blast, man, and beautiful, simply beautiful. Larry Markley, he's arrogant. Yeah, he is arrogant. And when you have the nerve, and I'm not sure how much of this is your representation if you're Caleb Williams, if you have the nerve to ask for a piece of the franchise and you ain't even stepped foot into an NFL stadium yet, no one's seen you play a game, not one time, I think you're asking for a little bit too much. And I think some of these players are getting a little ahead of themselves, especially now that this NIL shit is in place. Which I do think the players should get paid, but I don't think they should become millionaires. I don't think they should be making more money than their coaches and shit like that. I think they should be compensated. I really, really do. But maybe put that money away for them later. But these guys are getting a little bit ahead of themselves, asking for a little bit too much ahead of their NFL career when you've not even proven anything yet. Easy B says, I personally think May will be a bust. I do too. No particular reason, but a gut feeling. Always one QB taken high that underperforms. Think it's him. I think there's going to be a couple, Easy B, and I think you're exactly right. Drake May is not. He'll get your ass fired. I'm telling you now, at least in my eyes, and I think several of you think that maybe. But man, guys like him, Caleb Williams, they're going to get you fired, bro. They're not going to perform right. And then you're asking these guys to come into bad situations. They're already poor character type dudes, and you're asking them to play the most significant position on your football team, the most prominent one, the one that carries the franchise, basically, the franchise name, the franchise's image. And you're asking them to come in and put a franchise on their shoulders and do these types of things and perform at a high level whenever you already got shitty character from the jump. And yeah, it kind of scares me off a little bit. Skylar Cannon, outside of Jaden Daniels and JJ McCarthy, I think the talent just isn't there at QB. Yes, and I think that's been like that for a few drafts. I mean, there's been a couple. Yeah, there's been a few quarterbacks, but it hasn't been real rich. Like, yeah, exactly. There's a couple guys. I don't even know if I'm in on JJ McCarthy as much. I think he'd be okay. We'll have to see. I think he has an upside to be good. But Jaden Daniels seems to be my guy that I'm really gearing up for, Skylar. That's the guy I really think is going to have success. George Teston says, I think the problem is some of these players in college are making millions before the draft. Absolutely. I think that's the problem too, man. I think they're getting a little bit too big for their britches. They're millionaires before they ever get there. And you got to prove yourself in the show, man. You got to prove yourself in the big leagues. If you want to have some long-term success, long-term profitability, to make big bucks, playing a sport, playing a game, you got to prove it. And these guys haven't proved anything. And they're coming in and they're asking for, a lot. And I'm glad that the NFL has changed the pay structure to where you're not getting these guys that are getting monster contracts, first round guys that are just breaking the bank and getting absolutely out of control. I'm glad they reeled that in to have a pay structure for their initial rookie deals. I'm glad that has happened. So we'll see. We'll see how this all transpires, how this draft unfolds. But if you're taking Caleb Williams, Drake May, somebody like that, I think you're making a grave mistake if you pass on a guy like a Jaden Daniels. And if you're the Chicago Bears, try to get maybe a Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe try to trade back or something. Get out of that spot and don't put yourself there to where you feel obligated to take a Jaden or a Caleb Williams, because I think you're setting your franchise up to fail and even go further down the rungs of being able to win and being able to compete for a championship. RJ, what's up? Thoughts on Broncos getting Zach Wilson? I think they're tanking for Shador. I think Shador's going to be an awesome guy, man. I really do, RJ. I think Shador is going to be a big time talent in the NFL. I like the way he plays. I like the way he carries himself. And I think he has a good head on his shoulders, and I think that that's going to translate well into the NFL game, and they may very well be doing that. But when you're sitting on salaries that they had to dump, like a Russell Wilson, that's almost $40 million, ate up there. I think they got like $80 million in dead money or some shit crazy like that. So you have to just get things in place, players in place that are economical and that you're going to be able to afford. And that's what I think we're seeing right now with the Denver Broncos, a team that is just grabbing anybody to fill these roster spots to try to regain their footing in order to, maybe draft a little bit better, get some quality guys in during the draft, get out from underneath some of these mega deals that they had put in place during the Russell Wilson time there. So we'll see. Let's see. Let's keep going. Easy B, love the vibe of the stream, man. Just got to be a Cowboys fan now. LO, much love though. Love the stream and vibe. Thanks, Easy B. I appreciate you, man. We welcome you all, man. Cowboys fan, whoever. It don't matter. We love talking football. All right, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button for us here on Steel City Live. I'm your host, Jason, and it's only here on Mike Drop Sports. And also, make sure you subscribe. We're rapidly getting to that 3,000 subscriber mark. We're trying to hit 5,000 before summer. So let's ensure that we do that. I'd really, really, really appreciate it. RJ, Bears fan here. Need Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. with DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Kmet. RJ, I got to break it to you, bro. And I'm saying this because I don't want to see your team in the shitter, man. I don't want to see your team fail in a big, big way. And I think if you draft Caleb Williams, you are opening yourself up to a complete and utter disaster, and he is not going to be able to perform at the level that you all think and expect him to do as the number one overall selection in the 2024 draft. I think that he is going to be a monster bust, a bust of monumental proportions. And I really don't want to see the Bears make that mistake. And if I were the Bears, Marvin Harrison Jr. would be the guy I would get. Yeah, definitely don't need a Caleb Williams. Raiders. Oh, we'll accept you. Strolls, what's up, man? Skyler, the Bears need to invest in an offensive line first. Yeah, and you find your Steelers in a little bit of a place like that to where they need a couple offensive linemen. They're not in as bad a spot, I don't think. Uh, they just need a couple pieces, or maybe one, really, center, because you could ride with Dan Moore. We'll talk about that a little bit here in the draft, or in the stream also. Hey, fellow Pittsburgher, what's up, Ivy? Welcome. Yeah, I love the Pens too. Sadly, they're not going to be in the playoffs. Guys, the Stanley Cup playoffs, those are the best playoffs around. You got to, if you haven't never watched hockey playoffs, do yourself a favor and turn them on. They are exciting from start to finish. There's some big time games in those Stanley Cup playoff matchups. Man, is it awesome. And I'm really disappointed I haven't been able to see my Pens go at it here. Sorry, guys, I'm dropping my lights. Forgive me. We're in a little bit of a different setup here tonight, so I adjusted my seat and everything, so bear with me if I have things drop. But make sure you hit that like button for me, though. What's up, Tyrone? Brian Thomas Jr., round one. You've been saying that. You never know, brother. Williams is a diva. Absolutely, pull up. For sure. Matt Clark. The speed in the NHL is absolutely crazy. Yeah, it is crazy, man. Absolutely insane. I love it. It's the best playoffs around. It really, really is. Their postseason. Now, their regular season, kind of long, drawn out, and boring sometimes. I feel like it's not as exciting, but you hit that playoff stretch, and there is nothing like the NHL playoffs. All right, guys, let's continue here. What I wanted to bring up there that I had mentioned when we were talking about offensive linemen, and that was if you're a Steelers fan and what you're looking at in this draft, and you're hoping that the Pittsburgh Steelers go out there and they get a guy in round one, like an offensive tackle, like a Mims, a Latham, maybe even a Guyton if they trade back. Somebody similar to those types of guys that can be plug and play at the right tackle position. But if you're the Steelers, do you absolutely have to do that? I don't think you do. It would be better if you did, absolutely. But you don't have to do that. So we'll see how they go here. They love Dan Moore Jr. more than we all do. I can tell you that. And maybe he does have the ability to slide over. Maybe that will work out. So you never know. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my eyes, have one real definitive have to need, and that's center, and they have to do that. And I've been pounding the table and standing on the table for one Zach Frazier from WVU. I think that is their best option. The only reason I'm scared off of Jackson Powers Johnson, I wouldn't mind him as a pick. I just don't like that concussion history. It does scare me a great deal, and his lack of experience, only having 1 year. I do think, though, that he is an outstanding football player and that could really be good. And I wouldn't hate the pick at all if they got him inside of round one. But we'll see. I'm not a big Graham Barton fan either because I think we've already been down that road trying to pull a guy into a different position than he had played in college. And I don't think that the Steelers have time for developmental pieces. I think they need to have a guy with experience. And the only one that spells the answer to that question for me is Zach Frazier with 3 years of experience at center, quality frame, a guy that has great leverage and balance, a guy that has good hands, a guy that has experience, period. And I definitely think he's going to be a dog in the trenches in the NFL, just being his wrestling background. I really love wrestling background for football players. I think it gives you that edge. I think it gives you that meanness, that mean streak that you need in order to be successful at football. I definitely think that you have to have that. And I definitely think that that's still the key to being the best football player you can be, is being able to go onto that field and have that switch that you can turn on when that whistle blows to really be a nasty son of a bitch, man. One of the baddest dudes out there, going out to knock people's heads off. And I don't care if you're playing offense or defense. You're going out there, and every play you're looking to hit somebody. You're looking for contact. And I think that's what makes you a quality football player, the contact, man. Bears should go for Jaden. I do too. I think Jaden Daniels would be an awesome pick there. I definitely do. I think it would be the right move for them, especially with what they've done in the offseason. I think that would be their best move. Tyrone Johnson, Steelers should draft every Georgia Bulldog they can get. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. That's for sure, Tyrone. Definitely Georgia guys got it, man. And they're a top shelf program, and you can't go wrong with a Georgia Bulldog selection. Barbara Payne, big Steelers fan from Oregon. Welcome, Barbara. Matthew Clark, I'd rather have the Steelers trade their first for Ayuk and move up in the second if a center falls. I don't think that Zach Frazier will go in round one, and some say maybe even the other ones slide out of that first round. Centers aren't typical first round type talents usually. Now, centers have went in the first round, but usually it's not the case. So I still think the Steelers can get a center in round two. They may have to trade up for it. I think trading away your first round pick for Ayuk would be a mistake in my eyes. I don't think he's valued at that, or in my eyes, with the deep wide receiver draft that faces every team in the NFL right now. The wide receiver draft, and it's been so deep for a couple years that it doesn't make sense to go out and make monster trades for a wide receiver talent. I don't think you have to do that, in my eyes anyway. You have George Pickens on the roster, whom many feel, and I feel like many in that building feel like is going to take a year two leap and really be, or what, a year four leap or a year three leap and become a real stud inside of that building and become that leader in the room. So we'll see. Here comes the draft. Da 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 da. Yeah, no doubt. I'm pumped about it, Barbara. George Teston, what do you think it would cost for the Steelers to move up 33 or 40? What, in round two, George? Are you talking about in round two? Yeah, so they're moving up in round two. Well, duh, you were talking about 33 or 40. Duh, sorry, man. I'm brain farting there. I was trying to think of your answer. What do I think it would cost them? I think you could get away with it maybe. Maybe a third. That might be your highest price. Maybe, and swapping your second. But hopefully you could get away with swapping your second, swap and pick 51 for one of those picks that you speak of, and maybe give them one of your third round picks. Maybe that works, or, a fourth round pick if you have to. Maybe one of those. Third or fourth rounder is what I think in a pick swap is what I think will get it done. I don't think it'll cost much more than that in my eyes. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe I'm undervaluing it, but I really don't think so. Matthew Clark, good points. I feel you. I just think he's young enough and seems hungry. The cap hit would be huge. Yeah, Ayuk's cap hit is going to be big, man, because you're going to have to sign. You're going to have to trade and sign him. Unless you're willing to give up high value for a guy that you're bringing in for 1 year. You know what I mean? And I don't know if the Steelers are in that position, if that's what they're looking for. Yes, they have a quarterback room that's full of 1 year guys. But do you want to have that all over the place? Because then you're totally reconstructing your roster all the time if that begins to be the constant, the theme all the time, And I don't think that is wise to do a lot. But we'll see. I think Ayuk could be got for a little bit less than what the first round pick would, that's a little bit high value for me. I think you could get Ayuk for maybe a second or a third, plus another pick, a later pick too. But definitely one of those. I don't think you'd have to spend a first. Yeah, sorry, George. I was brain farting. Robert Rowe, what's up? No more than a third for Ayuk. You would still have to pay him big money. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay him probably $30 million, guys. Like Robert just said, big money. $30 million probably. That's probably best case scenario. Maybe a little bit less. Maybe like $27 to $30 million range. And is that worth it to have Mike Tomlin have his son on the team? They look identical. His twin brother on the team. Is it worth that? I don't know. I don't think so. Is Ayuk that? Yeah, he's that dude. He's a badass, man. I'll give you that. But is he worth crazy amounts of money and crazy amounts of draft capital? I'm not sure if I'm willing to say that just because of the deep draft. Ayuk has high value. He's a quality dude, but man, I just really think that this wide receiver class is so deep that you're going to be able to find a good player round 3, round 4. I still think that you could find one of those guys, maybe even later in the draft. Maybe you know how the Steelers have pulled some amazing guys out of round 6. So we'll see. Barbara Payne, the Steelers are a very good team. I think they will be next year for sure. I hope so anyway. Not interested in Ayuk. That's from George Matthew Clark. Lowe's for the memes. Oh, were they putting memes in there or something? Oh, you're talking about okay, Ayuk. I was losing track of you. Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. I did a short on it. People were liking it. It looked like it does look like Mike Tomlin's son, man. It's like where are you sending that child support, Mike Tomlin? No doubt about it. Let me get a drink, guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button for us here on Steel City Live. With Wilson and Fields both on 1 year deals, I could see Penix being taken at pick 20 if he falls that far. Ah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a Penix fan, so I would think that that would be a bad pick. That's just my opinion. And I see where you're coming from, though, George, the way you're attacking it here. You have 1 year guys all over the place in the quarterback room, and I can exactly see why you would want to do that for sure. Would it be a bad pick? No, probably not, because you want to get a guy in there long term. You want to figure out your future, because if they haven't figured that out by now, if they don't have a long term plan in place that we just don't know about, it'd behoove them to figure it out right quick and in a hurry. Absolutely, because you definitely need to be stable at the quarterback position, no doubt. You heard Omar talking today with Mike Tomlin about the possibility of drafting a quarterback. It didn't seem like they were overly aggressive with that, but you know how they are. I don't think they're really giving too much in that press conference. Yeah, the draft's only a few days away, and they're holding their cards close to their vest here. They're not trying to give away exactly what they want to do, and I think that's they do that in several positions. But man, I just don't know if I could be a Penix Jr. guy right away. I think I don't know. I'm just not a big dude, a big fan of him. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Sean Yaron, I think Rattler will be the steal of the draft quarterback wise. Yeah, I think that he will be a quality mid round selection. I think he'll be a third rounder or so. But just think a couple years ago, before the whole Caleb Williams thing and Lincoln Riley and all that bullshit in Oklahoma happened, Spencer Rattler was projected to be one of the top picks. He'd have went in the top 10, I could tell you, if he'd have went out into the draft. Definitely so. Big stretch. What linebacker do you think we should pick if we went for one in the fourth or fifth round? I don't know, big stretch. I really, really don't know. I don't know what that answer would be. I don't know if teams value that as much as they used to, especially now with the Steelers. Right now, bringing in a guy like a Patrick Queen. I think that they filled that need. Yes, they would probably need a depth piece. So I'm not sure who that answer would be inside of that deep into the draft. I'm not sure who they could really be comfortable with there. But you got to look at how these teams are really playing defense now in a pass happy NFL. And so whatever guy it would be, I think they would be looking for a guy that they could team up with more of a run thumping type dude in the middle. But really have a guy that can play the pass game in a big way, a guy that's more versatile, like a big safety. That kind of dude is who I think they would be looking for. But, do they devalue that spot right now? I don't know. But I think the way the Pittsburgh Steelers play defense, I think you need to have that like lightning and thunder type dude. I think you need to have a run thumping type run stopper in the middle. And then I think you need to have also a guy that can move around and slide all over the place and even cover, a slot guy or a tight end guy if they had to drop out, and do that kind of thing in the pass game. We'll see. But I definitely think that they need to get somebody that's a little bit more versatile in the pass game. I'm not sure who the answer is, though. Robert says Rattler in round 2 or 3 is also possible. Yeah, you never know, man. That's what it said. I think Spencer's going to be a steal too. I think that he could do really well. I think he had a good year at South Carolina. I think he played well at Oklahoma. Yeah, I don't think he would be a bad move at all. Poplop, I will prefer that they work some deal with Justin Fields. They may, and it may be a cost-effective type deal. You never know. They may be able to sway him into doing something on a 2-year deal or something along those lines. Maybe even an extra year at a reduced price, more like a prove-it type thing. And just let Russell Wilson ride it out here and see how he performs. Now, if he comes in and takes you to a Super Bowl, you're going to do whatever it takes to get him signed. That's just what it is. But I think Russell Wilson and Justin Fields both being on a 1-year deal does pose a lot of questions. And I'm really hoping that they are able to figure it out sooner rather than later, because May 2 quickly approaches after this draft, and they're going to have to figure this shit out real soon with Justin Fields. Otherwise, they're just going to have a rental guy, and he's going to test the free agency market, and especially if he ends up playing for you a little bit. If Russell gets hurt and does really, really well, you're going to have a difficult time signing him, because other teams would swoop in and grab him up if he really played well and played lights out. Let's keep going with some comments. Make sure you're hitting that like button for us, guys. Fishing Frontier. What do you think of or not trading for Brandon Soul instead of go for Donnie Mitchell? I like a Donnie Mitchell. I think the Steelers should trade back. That's what I really think. So when you say trade, I really think the Steelers should trade back, grab one of the better right tackle type options in round one. Maybe 28, whatever. If they do a Bills trade, or maybe with the Cardinals, those teams seem to make sense. I think they should trade back. That's what I really think. And they should grab a tackle. Then they should work that center position. If they have to trade up for it, use some of the capital that you got off of trading back, maybe, if that's what you need to do. And then find that center, figure that part out, and then attack that wide receiver position. Maybe you trading back gives you the opportunity to have another high value pick in round 2 to where you can get that wide receiver position filled. And then you could attack a cornerback maybe position in round 3. You have 2 third-round picks, so you never know what you could do there. It just depends on what you would get in value, in terms of value for trading back on day 1. Ayuk. Yeah, I don't like Ayuk. Yeah, I got what you were saying. Fishing Frontier. Yeah, I'm not a big Ayuk. I just don't think it makes sense. You know what I mean? I think you're giving up too much in a draft that you can get somebody that could potentially be just as good. Smash mouth hitting style. I like that. I like the old school smash mouth game, man. I think they're sissifying the game a little bit too much nowadays, and I like to see the big hits, and I like to see the aggressive players. I think that's really what makes you a good football player: being aggressive, attacking the football, man. And those are the type of guys I'm looking for all the time. Matthew Clark. I also like Cooper DeJean's versatility in the Steelers defense. Yeah, I picked him in my mock draft. We're going to do one more right before the draft here. Maybe tomorrow night or Wednesday night. We'll see. Probably Wednesday night, the day before the draft. We'll do one more mock. But in my mock draft that we just did last week, or the week before, last week, I believe, I picked Cooper DeJean at 20 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I thought it would be a cool-ass pick. I really like Cooper DeJean. I think he's an excellent playmaker, so we'll see how that all goes. Fishing Frontier, I really like Russell Wilson with Justin Fields to help mentor him, because prime Russell Wilson and him are kind of similar. Yeah, I think Russell Wilson definitely could show Justin Fields a few things. And if Justin Fields is wise, I think that he'll take advantage of that. You really got to pay attention. And if you're Justin Fields, you were put into a bad situation with the Bears. I get it. You didn't get much help there. They changed coaches too much. Like you had to learn a couple different systems. You're going into year 4 here now. And you've just not really had that fair chance just yet. I think it was a little too unstable in Chicago for him. I don't think he was able to do what they needed him to do, carry the franchise. And we'll see. We'll see. I don't know the whole dynamic in Chicago, though, so I can't give you like an expert opinion on it. But I really feel like Justin Fields wasn't dealt a full deck of cards there. So we'll see. That one was taken away. All right, guys, make sure you are putting your comments in as we approach the draft here on Thursday. This is Mike Drop Sports and the show Steel City Live, so make sure you're hitting that like button for us here on our Monday show as we kick off draft week. And don't forget to make sure that you hit that subscribe button, because we're almost to 3,000 and we're really growing quickly. So I want to hit that 5,000 mark before summer here. Let me get a drink, guys. Good shit, though. You guys have great comments also. Awesome comments. There's so many of these draft day rumors too, guys. As I told you, don't fall for a lot of them. Don't fall for a lot of them, man. You've seen 100,000 different mock drafts. If you're on Twitter, you see a different one from the same dude every day. There's guys on there that put out a new mock draft every day, and it makes you wonder to yourself, like, really, guy? And then then they'll like one of those 3,000 mock drafts that they did before the draft. One of those they'll be right on, and they'll pull it up and be like, "See, I told you all that this was going to happen inside of the 2024 NFL draft." Like, buddy, mathematically, the odds are with you, man. You've made 500 mock drafts ahead of the real draft, so you're probably going to hit on a couple of them, man. Like, no doubt. You could guess. You're not anything great. It just makes me crazy. Polo 3-1. What is your dream team for the Steelers? I got to be honest. I'm not into the superstar teams, Polo 123. I'm not into that kind of team building. That's not my style. I think you overpay, and I think that you bring in a lot of attitudes, and I think you bring in a lot of guys that maybe would contaminate your locker room. And we've seen super teams fail before. How I really like to do it is high character guys. Guys that are committed to winning, guys that are committed to being a team, guys that are committed to playing for the brother or player beside them. That's what I'm looking for. High character guys. Then when I turn on their tape, I want to see splash plays. I want to see high energy. I want to see guys that are able to make splash plays and that make a difference on a football field. They don't have to have a big name to me. I don't need guys that are overly hyped. I don't need guys that are monster, contract guys. I don't need that. I need guys that can make some splash plays, that give a shit, that come to work every day and really, really care. That's what I want. Guys that really, really care about winning and that the paycheck, yes, it's important. That's your job. Of course it's going to be important. But I want it to also be important that you're caring about winning and you're caring about representing your family's name, your team's name, your team's history, presenting yourself well, to the public and to the fan base, and to really, just be excited about coming there every day. That's the type of guy I'm looking for. Let's see. Matthew Clark. I want to see Mel Kiper and AB at the draft table going at it. Yeah, AB. He's a little stupid, a little slow, but yeah, AB something special. Definitely. Mel Kiper, moron, dude. Moron. He's probably one of the guys on the table going, Caleb Williams is a generational talent. He is a slam dunk consensus first round overall number 1 selection here in the 2024 NFL draft. Caleb Williams is that guy that will change a franchise. That's what he's on ESPN probably saying. And he's an idiot. He's a moron. He don't turn on the tape, evidently, because he is a complete jackass. Yeah. Come on. Nuts, dude. Oh, shit, guys. That's the third time I've kicked my light over here while we've been doing a show. So I'm definitely not liking this new setup that I have going on. I'm probably going to switch back to the way I had it. But I wanted to try it for one night just to see how it worked, and it hasn't been that great. And I dropped it for a 5th time. Yeah, I'm not into it. Hova123, my favorite football team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mine, too. Sorry, guys, if I'm making noise here. Let me get this wire out of the way. There we go. There we go. That's what you get when you get live shows, man. You get it all. The good, bad, the ugly. Hey, it is what it is. Make sure you're putting your comments in the comments section and also hitting that like button for us here on Still City Live apps. I absolutely appreciate it. Should we trade for Ayuk? Nah, Sir Leroy Jenkins. Trolling. No, I don't think so. I don't think you have to. I just don't. Why give up $30 million a year? Because that's what it's going to take to keep him. Why give up that kind of money? Okay, maybe they get him for this year, and the 49ers pick up a bunch of his salary. Okay, you get another 1-year guy. Okay. Or is that what you're looking for if you're the Steelers? Is that what you're trying to do? You're looking for this 1 year? Are you looking to be all in this 1 year? Is that what you're doing? That's the question. That's what you have to ask yourself if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Or is that what you're aiming to do? Russell Wilson, 1-year deal. Or are you just looking to load up, go all in 1 year, and then figure it out after that? Is that what you're... If that's the answer, then go ahead, get Ayuk, because I think the 49ers will pay some of his salary. I think you could probably have him for 1 year, maybe $7 to $10 million, and you're not going to be able to re-sign him in 2025. You're going to have figure out the quarterback room. You're going to have to, figure out some of the other contracts that you're going to have coming up. So I just don't think it works. And two, George Pickens is about to have to be paid too. So, what are your thoughts on George Pickens then if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers? You're not going to pay two guys. You're not going to have over $60 million a year wrapped up into the wide receiver room, it just can't work. That's just my opinion. Hova123, how do you think Russell Wilson going to do for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I think he's going to have a solid year, and I think that's all you need from Russell Wilson. You don't need Russell Wilson to be anything more than just Russell Wilson. You need him to be just a steady presence. And you hear a lot of people bash quarterbacks that are what, guys? Game managers is what they like to say. They'll say, you don't want a guy, he's just a game manager. That's all he is. No shit, that's what you're looking for. Who else would you want? What was Tom Brady? A game manager. He managed the game to perfection. That's how you win football games. That's what I'm looking for if I'm a general manager, if I'm a coach. I want a game manager. So if that's what you're tagging that person as, a game manager, a guy that facilitates the football to their playmakers, thank you. That's what I'm looking for. That is what I'm looking for. I understand your point, Ayuk. Yeah, he'll be expensive later down the road, but yeah, you could get, if it's a 1 year thing you're looking for, man, go for it. Go for it all. Who is better, Ayuk or Pickens? I don't know. I like George Pickens. Why? Because of his catch radius. I think Ayuk has had a better career thus far because he's had more opportunities with better quarterback play. I think George Pickens will have a way better year this year. But then again, he's going to have a tough year because they're going to double him up a lot, especially if they don't find somebody else to play that number two. So we'll see. He is special, for sure. It's close. Pickens does some freaky things, needs reliable QB play. Yeah, Matthew, that's exactly what I think. Yeah. I just think that you really got to weigh what you're doing. That's the real answer to all of this, guys, when you're looking at these trades and these big money deals. And if you heard what Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin said today in their presser that they did on the South Side down in Pittsburgh, they were talking about what they really are looking at here in free agency. This is a team in the Pittsburgh Steelers that builds its roster through the draft. So we have to understand that first and foremost. They're not a team that builds their team through free agency, and thankfully so, because you end up being, a bottom dweller a lot of the times because you're spending big money and then you're falling off. Then you go back once you recoup those contracts and get out from underneath that dead money. Then you're back to spending a shit ton. You build up, you're good for a year or two. Boom, back to being shitty again. Yeah, I'm not into that vicious cycle, and the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't either, and they are built for long-term success, and I think that's exactly the message that they portrayed again yet today. We build through the draft. We don't build through free agency. You supplement through free agency. You fill holes that you may have through free agency, but you really rely on the draft to build your roster foundationally at the key positions, and that's exactly what they do. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, waiting for even a guy like Ayuk to even figure, maybe after the draft to figure something like that out. See what you get before you pull the trigger on some high value trade. Give the 49ers something in 2025 if that's what you're trying to do. But I would wait and see how this all pans out because they're going to only drive their value down, especially after teams get their wideouts, Holcomb, Alexander, they are changing their approach. This is the best offseason we have had in a long time. Pickens is limited with his route running. Mike drop, should we trade back up or stay put? I think you trade out. I think you trade down. I think you trade back toward the latter part of the draft. I think in round one. I think you should be, 25, 26, 27, 28 area. I think that's where you should try to be if you're the Steelers. I think you can still get high value there, and I think you can get the players that you need in order to fill those holes, and that's what we're aiming to do here. Definitely, though, you see what the Steelers are trying to do. They're trying to really throw some smoke screens out there. They didn't give you much information today. I really think, too, that we overvalue some of the things that go on. And yes, I think you're right. We've had a great offseason. I think this offseason has been very productive. And I think the minute that they got a guy like a Patrick Queen for the price that they did, that really gave me, a feeling of an A+ type off season because I thought he was going to go for a hell of a lot more than he did. Definitely. So, but you look at what the Steelers are really trying to do here, guys. They're trying to build a foundationally sound team. They got Broderick Jones. Look at the defense. Yes, it's starting to age out a little bit, so you got to continue to build there. But I think that that's what they're aiming for with this next couple picks. Center, right tackle, and I think you could get that by trading back. I really, really do. Holcomb and Alexander, yeah, they were really playing well last year, guys. They had figured it out in the inside linebacker room, I thought, for the first time since a Ryan Shazier injury. They had figured it out, and it was going, and things were really starting to move along, and I really had high hopes for that duo, that trio with Landon Roberts. And then you look at how those injuries started to just pile up, and that was a direct result from Kenny Kitten Mittens having an offense that was going three and out, three and out, three and out constantly, putting that defense back on the field to where they were beaten, battered, and bruised by mid-season, and they were just completely decimated by injury, and that was a result of the offense being completely and utter shit. So we'll see. The Steelers have to really focus on that time of possession this year and not leave that defense out there to dry constantly just to get killed. I definitely think that was a problem. Pickett was horrible. I love the way Alexander played, super intense. Yes, Matthew, and that's what you're needing. When I'm talking about players I'm looking at, the players I want, that's the type of guy. A guy that got fire like that, dude. A guy that's all about the team, man, that comes out hungry every single down, dude. A guy that got your back, man. A guy that isn't going to watch somebody fail on the team and just stand there and be cool with it. A guy that's going to, try to build that player up, try to get them on board, trying to get them going in the right direction. Those are the types of players I want. Stephen Carpenter, what's up, man? Tomlin even joked he's been messing with us by looking extra focused at certain players this year. Definitely feels less predictable. Yeah, I was going to go with something on that. I was just thinking of that, and then I lost track of what I was saying. This damn light is really pissing me off, so it keeps falling. But yes, I think we overvalue that. Kitten Mittens, yeah. Kenny Kitten Mittens, meow. But anyway, I definitely think we overvalue some of the things that the Pittsburgh Steelers do in the offseason in terms of player evaluation towards the draft. These visits, guys, just because they bring a guy in for a visit doesn't mean that they're like a guy that, they have to have, that they're definitely going to pick. Because it may be a guy that they just didn't get to meet with, that they want to know a little bit more about. They get the local visits that don't count against visits. You heard them talk about this stuff today, and I think we put a little bit overemphasis on some of it. Over or under 10 wins? Over. I say 11. Chris, love the Queen acquisition. He will play with speed and intensity. We might have found our replacement for Shazier. Yes, the only thing that Patrick Queen scares me a little bit is his pass coverage, but I think that he could get a little bit better there. Coupled with the Landon Roberts, another guy that is a run-heavy type middle linebacker. I think that you might have to rely on the back end a little bit to help out. In terms of pass coverage. So we might be lacking a little bit there, but I think they will play excellent against the run. So we'll see how it really goes. I think it's going to be an exciting duo nonetheless. Landon Roberts and Patrick Queen, they have me excited too. I'm really, really pumped up for it. George, the only Pickett I liked was Bobby. He did the monster mash. Bobby Pickett, monster mash. Oh, yeah, good shit. TD, do you think there is going to be a late run on safeties and backers with the new kickoff change? Potentially, TD. That rule change is definitely, I think, going to sway some of the ways these teams are built, especially, toward the special teams end, the back end of rosters. You're going to see a little bit different build. You're going to see these teams maybe put a little bit more emphasis on some larger personnel, in my opinion, too. So I don't know about safeties or backers. Yeah. I think they're going to try to beef up a little bit on special teams, in my eyes, in some areas, on the kickoff and shit like that. But that's just what I think because they're going to be closer together. So backers and safeties, maybe. I don't know if it'll be a late run. I definitely think cornerbacks are going to be highly valued. I think safeties will be, highly valued in the mid rounds. Third, fourth round, you're going to see a lot of safeties come off the board. You're going to see a lot of cornerbacks come off the board then too. A lot of wide receivers in round two. Yeah, you're going to see some positional runs here. I think you're definitely going to see maybe some of the positions that we think are going to be taken quickly. Not. I just think that that's how it always goes. There's going to be some stunners in there. What exactly did they change on the kickoffs? So basically, it's the whole thing's different. The kicker's kicking from the same place, but the lineup of players on the special teams, on the kickoff team and the receiving teams, they're going to be 10 yards apart down near the 35 or something like that. Yeah, there's not much of a difference. I can't remember exactly. I have it written down here somewhere. But definitely, they're farther down the field. They're only going to be 10 yards apart. The way the kickoff is going to be designed now should be more exciting. There should be more returns. And that's exactly why the Pittsburgh Steelers went out and got a guy like Cordell Patterson. They instantly went out. As soon as that rule changed, and the Steelers were a big driving force behind that rule change. So they were anticipating that, and they got a guy like Patterson because they want his return ability. And I think you're going to see a guy like Calvin Austin maybe have some success back there also in the return game. Yeah, a lot, Steven. Yeah, they definitely did. Is this Tomlin's last season? I think Tomlin will get an extension, whether or not it's his last season. That will remain to be seen. Because just because he gets an extension doesn't mean that he can't retire at any time. I think this year's success and this year's outcome is going to weigh heavily on Mike Tomlin's ability to move forward without a nudge from the Rooneys, in my eyes. I think that their patience has grown thin, and we'll see. But they're very loyal. But I think Mike Tomlin will get an extension here this summer for 2 years, and I think that Mike Tomlin has a real chance here to be successful. We'll see how it goes. But I think Mike Tomlin's really trying to end his tenure with the Pittsburgh Steelers on a winning note. So we'll see. But this possibly could be, depending on how bad, if they did really bad. Do you think Broderick will play left tackle this year, and who will we get for right tackle if so? I think they really value Dan Moore Jr., so if they don't end up getting their guy in the draft, I think Dan Moore Jr. slides over to the right tackle spot, and I think Broderick Jones does go to left tackle. I think you will see Broderick Jones as the left tackle because that's what he was drafted to do, and I think he will perform the best there, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers' best option at the left tackle spot is Broderick Jones, and I think they realize that, as do we, the fan base, and I think that that's exactly what we'll see in 2024, no doubt. How are the onside kicks going to work? You have to report the onside kick. So you have to call out that you're doing it, and then they move everything back up to its original setting as it was in 2023. We can hope. We finally got a good punter. Thank God. Yeah, Presley Arvin killed us last year, guys. And I don't know how much people really realize his play really hurt the Steelers a lot. His inconsistency was just putting the defense against the wall even more than the offense was at times. It was just not good at all. I know Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in a while, but I love the dude's approach. Yeah, he's a good speaker. He really is. He's a good speaker, and that's what people really like, and he can captivate, an audience. But Mike Tomlin hasn't had playoff success and hasn't won a playoff game since 2016, and if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan or the Steelers organization, that's not very Steeler-like in my eyes, and I would like to see more, and I think the Rooneys and the front office staff would like to see more out of Mike Tomlin's teams. And I think they would like to stop seeing the just backing into the playoffs, getting lucky, needing help. I think those days need to be done, and we'll see. Hopefully that the Pittsburgh Steelers are able to get a lot better here come Thursday. I wouldn't mind seeing a change. I like Tomlin, but I'm getting a little bored and would like to see something new. Yeah, I could get on board with that too. I'm always down for a little bit of change after, damn near 20 years. Chris, so you think AB will be back since he offered to play for free? No, Chris. And he can't even play for free. It's not even allowed. He'd have to be on a veteran minimum, which is like one. He would make $1.210 million is what he would make. What's up, Tyler? Not much, man. Just bagging on your Bears a little bit for maybe getting Caleb Williams. I think that would be a bad pick. We were talking about that earlier. I just think it would be a bad move. I really do. Hopefully they don't, man, for you guys that are fans. Hopefully. All right, guys, I'm going to get a drink. Make sure you hit that like button for us. We're almost about time to wrap up as we go for about an hour every day. So we're going to start winding things down here on Steel City Live. Only here on Mic Drop Sports. I'm Jason, your host. Don't forget you can become a Mic Drop Mafia member and enter into our giveaways. This giveaway from this month still hasn't been claimed, which is the James Harrison photo. So we will be re-raffling that off by the end of the week. So maybe even draft night we'll re-raffle it, unless the guy who won claims it. Which was AQ, Doug Craig. So if you're out there, Doug, make sure you call me and claim it, and or email me at micdropsports@yahoo.com, and we'll set up getting it shipped to you. If not, we're going to redraw the names. I have this month's giveaway people still right here, so we will definitely redraw this Wednesday or Thursday, probably Thursday draft night. So if he doesn't claim it by then, we'll redraw it. But next month, going to be $50 cold hard cash. So make sure that you get your Mic Drop Mafia membership for 99 cents a month and become part of our channel Mafia group, the Mic Drop Mafia, cool group. So make sure you do that and be entered into those giveaways because they're really cool. We have a really back up on TJ Watt's position, Sebastian. Yeah, I think Nick Herbig is the real deal, and I think he'll definitely be very serviceable moving forward. And I think he is that dude, and I think he can definitely be a definite game changer at that position. Bill Burr will punt us to a championship. He does look like Bill Burr, Steven. Not much, bro. Hope you're well. Who is better, Cowher or Tomlin? About the same. They both, have one Super Bowl championship under their belt. The only difference is Tomlin kind of won with a more Cowher-based team is the only thing. But I think they're kind of similar, though, in the way that they have, in their success. Bill Cowher made it to a lot of AFC championship games, lost them. That was whenever the Patriots, when they were doing their cheating scandals and shit like that. So maybe things would have been different. Who knows? I won't dwell on that, though. You never know. Tom Brady's the GOAT. He got 7 championships, so it is what it is. All right, guys, we've been going for over 60 minutes. I'm going to wrap this show up. I appreciate you all for stopping through here to Steel City Live. Again, I'm Jason. This is Mic Drop Sports. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Check out our daily uploads every day on the channel. And we are going to be live for the first round of the draft at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the channel. In the show Steel City Live, Sean and I will be live for the first round as we break down every move, every pick, and really try to dissect what the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do when it comes their turn. And maybe we'll have a little bit of predictions on some draft day trades. I'm going to put out another mock here probably Wednesday. So look out for Sean and I Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to have a big night on draft night. So it's going to be cool. And until tomorrow morning. And then we'll have our live show tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. So check us out, and thank you for your support. Until tomorrow, peace. See you guys. Thank you.